And for me, to be honest with you guys, when I started at Softway, my first day sucked. Right? It was awful. So just to paint that picture for you, I showed up at 9 o'clock and I walked through the entrance and Muhammad rushes past and he stops and he sees me. He's like, "You start today. I forgot. I don't have any time to meet with you. I'm sorry. Like, just go talk to the HR manager and they'll get you settled in." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And so every meeting that I was told to have had, no one knew that I was supposed to be there. So the HR person didn't know, right? And she said, "Okay, well, I think you're supposed to talk to Jeff," and went to Jeff's office, and he's like, I don't have this on my calendar. I don't know what to do with you, right? And so that was my day, just about the entire day. And the only person who spoke to me only spoke to me because he thought I was his new boss. And once he found out that I wasn't, he stopped speaking to me, right? And for me, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make sure that it's my mission that no one here has the same first day experience that I had. And it all came down to one key thing, which is culture. And for us, culture is not sort of the perks, the benefits, the parties, as Das mentioned, the pool tables, the free food, all those are great. But for us, culture came down to our everyday interactions, the hallway chats, the pings on Zoom or chat, looking at how we actually talk to each other, how we gave instructions to our team, how we listened to our team or not. So at the end of the day, culture for us came down to behaviors, which were informed by our mindsets, our attitudes, and our communication style. So I'm sure, as Das mentioned, when you hear love as a business strategy, you might think Hallmark rom-com where your hot best friend is your actual soulmate, or it could be the love that might fear or scare Brittany and Mark, at night. But when we mention love, simply is just a matter of ensuring that when you make decisions, especially in business, you're putting people first. You're making sure that people are being considered and valued, and that we're not just making a decision off of numbers or PowerPoints or Excel sheets, but we're actually thinking about the faces and the lives and the livelihoods that are within the walls of our organization. It also means doing things out of the care for others and making sure that we're embracing the hard conversations. When you really love someone the way that we mean, you can lean into those difficult conversations. You can have honest dialogue. You can give real feedback, real time. You can make sure that everyone who's in that environment is set up for success, but also hears and receives the truth in terms of how they're operating, where their potential lies, where their growth area lies, etc. We also believe that processes can actually be bettered when you have the right mindset and when you have that love in place as a team. That includes how you implement tools, the tools that you actually select, but even whether it's HR or just standard operating procedures, the policies that you create should align people with profit and not put those against each other. I also we believe that growing others or growing with others through accountability and trust is a huge part of implementing love as a business strategy. And when it comes to it, all that is really, looking at it from the lens that those things are idealistic, those things are philosophical, but we know from experience that it's not easy. None of the things that we learned or none of the things that we implemented or the success that we saw happened overnight. We believe that overnight successes sometimes mean daylight failures. So it took a while to experiment, to try, to learn, to talk about it, to grow. And as Das has mentioned, we had to do incremental improvements along our values and along the behaviors that we saw in the organization to a place where we started to see real change, not just in terms of how we interacted with each other, but how our results and our numbers started to form. I went to business school. I was always taught that people were sort of a cost against profit. But we see people as a conduit to profit, where we cannot be successful, we cannot post the returns or the numbers that we're looking for without a great and substantive team.